responsibilities as the Director of Strategic Initiatives of the International Women's Peace Group, IWPG, Kelli Guess is in charge of cultivating long-term relationships with organizations whose missions are in line with IWPG. Her responsibilities include conducting monthly meetings with personnel, hosting international webinars, and training future peace lecturers. With peace in our hearts and with enthusiasm, we warmly welcome Kelli Guess to make her presentation.
Thank you so much, Ekpeme, for the introduction. It's good to see you all, fellow peace advocates. Good morning, afternoon, evening, maybe it's even Wednesday for some of you. It's Tuesday here in the States, but it's a pleasure to be among so many different artists, musical artists, and those who share the fellow passion for peace. And it's good to see you again, Taylor. It's nice to see a familiar face, as well as thank you, of course, Ekpeme, for inviting me. And thank you, John Paul, for also hosting this event as a moderator. But just to introduce a little bit about even my organization that I'm a part of, just like Ekpeme said, I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the International Women's Peace Group. And we are headquartered actually in Seoul, South Korea, but as I already noted, I am in the States because we have over 102 branches in 130 countries. And so we work together with about 400 organizations for the work of peace. But to even go along with the objective for today, looking at, what does peace mean for us and what are some actions that we can take in order to make that a reality, I want to first look at history because the status of today's world can be traced back to the two tragic world wars of the last century and their devastating aftermath, from which the United Nations was founded to respond to these atrocities of conflict and loss of human dignity. Since then, many international agreements and declarations have been developed as mechanisms to secure peace, designating human rights and a world free of wars as core values of our contemporary times. So nevertheless, additional challenges such as national and religious conflicts, cultural bias, and ethnic hatred have been a hindrance to the movement of peace. And these elements of division have made it even harder to effectively cope with the new phenomenon of recent global events. But at the very core of this issue are the recurrent conflicts in which, unfortunately, the loss of innocent civilian lives have had to pay the price. So in this regard, what we must consider is that the international society needs, at least part of one of our initiatives, a comprehensive legal approach that guides citizens' daily lives, regardless of their nationalities, their ethnicities, their race, their religions, in accordance with the promotion of peace. So the invention of a legal framework, which I'll share a short PowerPoint, I'll try to keep time, about that legal framework to secure peace at both the national and international levels in the form of a peace law, something that we're working towards. So in order to protect justice, rights, and value for humanity, we have to take aggressive actions toward preserving life, peace, and harmony, which is the vision of IWPG. We won't stop advocating for this achievement of global peace and security until it's established. And we try to establish that through what we know as one of the initiatives called the DPCW. And what that stands for is Declaration of Peace, Cessation of War, which is an international law made up of 10 articles and 38 clauses. So this global movement of support from both that we've received from both civil society and government plays a key role in pushing that initiative forward. But before I share a little bit more about what those 10 articles are, there are 3 overarching values that highlight it. One being conflict prevention. So encouraging states to cooperate in gradual disarmament, repurpose weapon manufacturing facilities for the benefit of humanity, and develop friendly relations through mutual respect of the sovereign equality and right to self-determination of all states. Number 2 being conflict mediation. So focusing on conflict mediation through reaffirming the role of international supervision organizations in maintaining international peace and security. And lastly, to secure sustainable peace through peace education. So our ultimate goal is to implement, this legal binding document, but we hope to do that. And we've been working with a lot of different organizations around the world, heads of states, diplomats, educators to really push this forward. So at this time, I'll go ahead and share a brief PowerPoint. And let me go ahead and see if I can make this slide. Is it okay if you give me a thumbs up if you can see it okay? Just to make sure everyone's wonderful. Thank you. So this is Article 1 of the document, so which is to prohibit the threat or use of force, okay? Article 2 talks about reducing war potential, which I just mentioned, and repurposing weapons to actually benefit humanity here. Okay, so you can see that illustrated through this image. Article 3 is to develop friendly relations and prohibit acts of aggression. And so once again, these are just the articles, but there are 38 clauses that detail this. And for those who are interested, I can send you the document too, if you would like to read it in detail. I just wanted to keep time for today. Article 4 is to prohibit coercion against internationally recognized state boundaries. Article 5 is to ensure the right to self-determination of peoples of state. Okay. Article 6 is to settle international disputes in a peaceful way through peaceful means. Article 7 is to acknowledge the right to self-defense. Okay. Article 8, so like I said, a lot of wars and conflict is due to religious differences, but we want to foster religious freedom, as we can see here in Article 8, or Article 8. Article 9 is to promote peaceful coexistence amongst religious and ethnic groups. And lastly, Article 10 is to spread a culture of peace. And so that's a very broad term, to spread a culture of peace, but it's more illustrated through, at least for one of our initiatives, not only through the DPCW, which is the articles that we just read, but also through peace education as well. And so our lovely Akane, she was willing to participate in this course, in this training. And what it's composed of is different peace workshop, peace trainings, and all of this is free. And we provide all the resources that one may need internationally to really promote peace within their communities. But in order to do that, as you can see within our curriculum number 1, we believe that you first have to find peace within yourself. Finding that peace and finding your own value is really the beginning of it all, which can translate into your family, your society, community, and ultimately the world as that global citizen as well. So I'll go ahead and stop share at this time. But that's ultimately the goal of our organization. We have been doing this for almost 10 years now. We're truly working together hand in hand with all of you here, just like these fellow advocates, to really make this an actual reality. So thank you all for having me here, and I'll go ahead and end my speech here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, very much. Absolutely wonderful to have also this, these 10 points which you have been introducing. I hope that there will be coalitions arising from our meeting today online, and what we can also achieve by using all the information that we are collecting today by posting it on our blogs and informing our networks about all the contributions that everybody is providing to us. So one of the things that occurred to me is to connect you with one of the people that is here, who's working with me here in the Netherlands, which is Milagros, for instance. She comes from South America, and she's working on already for quite some years on International Women's Day in March. And it would be a beautiful message to also extend. This is a very multicultural environment where we bring about 300-400 or sometimes 600 people together and also in a very peaceful way to socially integrate people, and especially from a women perspective. So it would be nice that if there is some bridge building done between the people here, which are recognizing each other in each of their values, then we maybe can build out those communities that we envisage. So thank you very much, Kelly, for setting this up. This is an absolutely beautiful contribution too. Now, taking it from there, we go to the next piece of music, which is one which is probably lining very much up to that speech of yours, Kelly. And the title is Save the World Today. which is a very nice one by Igor Aniklik. Upima.
Okay. Hold on, hold on.